Hello, and welcome back to more Films Under Constant Critique, where we take a look at films, some good, some bad, and some downright awful. I'm Bongo Baikov, joined by our host Maverick, Dren, Zaria. This week we're taking a look at the film Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Yeah, which kind of sounds like a Douglas Adams title.
A little bit.
Life, the universe, and everything everywhere all at once. And also the movie sort of feels like a Douglas Adams work at some points. Okay, so this premiered on March 11th, 2022 at the South by Southwest Festival before getting a wide release 2 weeks later on March 25th, 2022. It cost about $20 million and made $104.1 million.
It's a pretty good return.
Yeah. It's not Way of Water money, but God, imagine if Way of Water wins Best Picture this year.
I will actually cry. Like, there'll be no salvaging me afterwards.
Okay, so the cast. We have Michelle Yeoh.
What else has she been in?
Super Cop and Super Cop 2.
Nice.
Tomorrow Never Dies.
Oh.
James Bond film. She played a Bond girl in that.
Oh. Huh.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Huh.
And Sunshine, just among other things. And we also have the return of Short Round.
Yes. Ke Hui Kwan. I think that's how it's pronounced.
He retired from acting, and then he decided to come back, and this is the first movie he decided to do when he came back, so good for you.
It's a very strong comeback.
James Hong, who he's had an incredibly long film career.
Yes, and shockingly, this is the first time that we've watched a movie that he's in.
For the podcast, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen him in other stuff, because he's in Blade Runner.
Kung Fu Panda.
Yes. Missing in Action. He plays a villain in a Chuck Norris movie. He's in Big Trouble in Little China. And Mulan. He's in Mulan. And another returning cast member, we have Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yep.
Because you might remember her from another movie on this podcast. She did the announcer voice in Escape from New York.
That's right. That's such a weird role.
But more people know her as Laurie Strode from the Halloween movies, or Wanda from A Fish Called Wanda, stuff like that. And Knives Out. She was in the first Knives Out.
Yeah. And she did this movie the same year she did Halloween Ends.
Yeah. Oh, and there was another cast member in this, Jenny Slate, which I was looking through her other acting credits, and one of them caught my eye.
Which one?
She played Andy Samberg's so-called girlfriend in the Lonely Island music video for Thrown on the Ground.
What?
When I saw that, I knew I had to include that, because that just... And that's a really funny music video, too.
Yeah. She was also apparently in Despicable Me 3. This filmography is all over the place.
My dad's not a cell phone. But anyway,
She was in Alvin and the Chipmunks Chipwrecked.
I only saw the first 2 of those.
I think I only saw the first one.
They're not very good.
I figured as much.
And this movie comes from the directors of Swiss Army Man. which explains a lot because that's also a weird fucking movie.
Yeah.
Have you seen it, or
I have not, but I've heard about it.
the one where Daniel Radcliffe plays a farting corpse and Paul Dano's on a desert island with it? Yeah, it's a weird thing, and it's not for me.
So this is apparently only their second feature film.
Wait, so that was their other feature film?
Yeah, Swiss Army Man was their first feature film, and Everything Everywhere All at Once was their second.
That's quite the filmography. And this does have an MCU connection because, well, for one, multiverse.
Yep.
Yeah, this came out the same year as Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. We should point out.
Yeah, it's a big year for multiverse movies, apparently.
When did Multiverse the movie come out? Gosh. But the other thing, the Russo brothers helped produce this movie.
Yep.
So, yeah, there's that. And this is the first A24 movie we've done.
Yes, I know that they've been making just a ton of stuff recently.
Yeah, a ton of weird stuff.
Yeah, I know their films list is just kind of all over the place when you look at it.
I think they also did Swiss Army Man, if I remember right.
That makes sense.
I'm trying to remember what other movies they did.
They did The Whale, which won, or I guess not won, it got nominated for an Oscar for Brendan Fraser's performance.
Let's see, they did Ex Machina.
Oh, they did that weird Lamb movie.
Which one? What movie?
It's like it takes place in like a Norse region.
Oh, The Witch?
No. Lamb. It's this woman has a child and it has the head of a lamb or something like that.
I haven't heard of this.
You haven't seen the commercial for it?
No, I haven't. That was like 2 years ago. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I think I did hear about this. Like, Noomi Rapace is in it, I think. Yeah. That does look weird. A lot of their movies are weird. Like, the ones I've seen are weird. Like that Coen Brothers Macbeth movie they did. They did X and Pearl. The same year. Those came out the same year, by the way. Because the X is like the first movie, and then Pearl was the prequel to X.
The only other time I've heard that happening is with those Fear Street movies, where they like speed ran the whole franchise in like a month.
Uncut Gems, they did that movie. The Lighthouse, I've seen that one. That's a weird movie.
Yeah.
Midsommar.
Apparently, I've heard that they're signed up to do a Friday the 13th series.
Oh, jeez. Like a show or like a series of movies?
A show, like a TV show about Camp Crystal Lake.
Okay. They did Hereditary.
Oh, good.
But yeah, there's also just a lot of range too. Because they also did The Disaster Artist and Lady Bird. The Florida Project. And yeah, some of them are good, and some of them are just... I'm gonna fall asleep. Basically, but yeah. Okay, so initial thoughts. I'll let you go first on this.
So it is definitely a weird movie.
Yeah.
But it's very fun. It is such a good time. And for a 2-hour movie, it doesn't feel quite like 2 hours just because the pacing is kind of off the wall. It doesn't quite nearly reach the Evil Dead 2 levels of pacing, but it is paced very fast. I like the story quite a bit. I think it's done really well. It's kind of it's kind of like stories you've seen before, where it's kind of about uh, like acceptance, like the importance of family, but it's done in an interesting and new way, which is definitely helped by the sort of multiverse aspect of the whole film. Also, just a lot of great fight scenes in this movie.
Yes. I I thought it was good. Very weird,
Yep.
but good. I thought I liked the cast. Visuals were good. Yeah, the plot was very strange. It's definitely a unique movie,
Yes.
and I don't know what else to say. I did get lost a little at a few points. Let me put it this way. I know what happened in this movie, but I also don't know what happened in this movie. That doesn't make any sense.
There are things that just sort of happen, and then a few seconds later we've moved on, and you don't get any time to contemplate what just happened.
It's not quite as like, but because it's a 2-hour movie, it didn't feel like as much of an onslaught as, say, Evil Dead 2 or
Yeah.
Turkish Star Wars, where it's just like you have no chance of recovering. It's just gonna keep going. Because you said this had like Evil Dead 2 pacing. I thought it was slower for me than it.
Yeah, it's a little slower than Evil Dead 2, but it's still pretty quick.
Like there's parts of it that are quick, yeah, but like it takes its time to ease you in, at least, unlike Evil Dead 2 or Turkish Star Wars. But yeah, I guess we can start with the recapping.
This recap should go very interestingly.
Okay, so we're introduced to Michelle Yeoh's character, Evelyn, who works at a laundromat, and she's married to Short Round. Or Waymond is his character's name.
Yep.
And they're considering getting a divorce.
And at the same time, they're about to be audited by the IRS.
Yes.
And so it's just kind of a chaotic scene where Evelyn's trying to fix dinner for her father, played by James Hong, trying to find all the receipts to take to the IRS, try to talk to her husband, try to talk to her daughter, who's coming over with her girlfriend.
Yeah, and that's another thing. She finds out her daughter's a lesbian, too, so there's quite a lot of family drama going on at the beginning.
And Evelyn doesn't really want to tell her dad that not only is her daughter a lesbian, but she's also dating a non-Chinese person.
Right, yeah. But I'll say this, though, like, at the start of the movie, I was like, this feels like a normal movie. Like, when does it start to get weird, you know? Like, I was just curious, like, what point does this movie, like, start to go off the rails?
It goes off the rails pretty quick after this scene. So while all this chaos is going on, Evelyn ends up going out into the laundromat, and we meet a few minor characters who show up again later in the movie.
Yeah.
There's this like trucker-like guy who was talking to Evelyn, whose like money got ate by like a vending machine or something. And then a woman with a dog who's very busy, who we will definitely mention again.
And she's the one that was in the Threw It on the Ground music video.
Yep.
That kind of is this movie. Just they threw everything on the ground. Yeah. And yeah, Evelyn's dad is James Hong, and her husband is Short Round. And then it starts to get a little bit weird because Waymond starts acting strange in the elevator.
He like takes off his glasses, he's speaking pretty fast, and he's like, you need to put on this headset and listen to and like follow the instructions that are right down in this paper. Essentially.
He also used an umbrella to block security cameras.
Yep.
And like gives her like this phone that like scans something. This was all happening so fast, and I wasn't sure like how I was gonna write some of it down. But
the
then
phone
she starts,
and everything else is explained later. So
yeah, and then she starts seeing her life flash in front of her. Just all these like flashbacks, and it's going by like really quick. I was like, what the okay, this is interesting.
And so the family sits down with Jamie Lee Curtis, who plays Deidre in this movie.
Jamie Lee Curtis is in this movie. I didn't know that this is who she played either, because I'd seen like somebody sent me like a GIF of her saying like, "I see a story here."
Yeah.
From this scene, I didn't know that was Jamie Lee Curtis, and it was from this movie. I didn't know. And yeah, she's the tax auditor.
And she's basically saying that they're fraudsters. They keep buying things and write them off as business expenses like a karaoke machine.
Yeah.
And all this stuff. And meanwhile...
Hey, to be fair, what business doesn't have a karaoke machine?
Exactly. And while this is going on, Evelyn starts to read the instructions that was left behind by her husband when he was acting weird, which basically says to switch her shoes and think that she's inside this broom closet.
And then she teleports into the janitor's closet and...
Yes, where her husband from earlier was. And it turns out that he's actually her husband from another universe called the Alphaverse.
Yeah, he's talking about multiverses because of course there are. I mean, listen to Stephen Hawking, there's alternate dimensions. And yeah, it keeps switching back and forth between the taxes and the janitor's closet. And it was very disorienting. And a little bit hard to follow at first.
And so the husband basically tries to explain that the multiverse is in great danger by this spirit called Jobu Tupaki, and that Evelyn is the only person who could potentially face her.
We've seen a plot like this before. Hell, honestly, you know what this movie was reminding me of for a bit of it?
What?
The Matrix.
A little bit, yeah.
It was sort of reminding me of The Matrix.
A happy version of The Matrix.
Yeah. The Matrix is a bit dour, isn't it? The Matrix is basically everything everywhere all at once for misanthropes, I guess.
And as they're having this discussion in the broom closet, they end up getting attacked by an alternate universe version of Deidre, who starts to break down the door.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis's character, and she snaps the alternate universe Waymond's neck. I never thought I would say this. Jamie Lee Curtis snaps Short Round's neck.
And then the scene switches back to them talking with Deidre about doing taxes immediately.
Yeah, I mean, God, imagine you're trying to do your taxes and you keep getting interrupted by a parallel dimension.
Where your tax auditor tries to kill you.
Listen to the Joker, kids. Do your taxes. Taxes are scarier than Batman, apparently.
And so Deidre basically says that she needs more receipts and that they can bring them to her by the end of the workday that day.
They basically leave, but not before she turns around and she turns around and punches Jamie Lee Curtis in the nose because she thinks it's the alternate universe. Jamie Lee Curtis.
And so she begins to call security up, which then triggers her husband to turn into the Alphaverse version of her husband.
This was strange, okay, because it's not only that, he pulls out some chapstick and eats it.
Which then lets him briefly jump to another universe where he knows Kung Fu and brings the Kung Fu skills back with him to this universe.
Yeah, and then we get a fight scene. So basically, Short Round grew up to be Jackie Chan.
Yes.
But yeah, that was a pretty good fight scene right there. I gotta say.
Because he's destroying all these security guards with a fanny pack.
Yes, yeah.
And then, before they can leave the building, Evelyn and Alphaverse Waymond end up getting snapped back into the other universe, where the evil Jamie Lee Curtis is trying to kill them.
This is kind of giving me flashbacks to when we did that Face Off podcast, and we weren't sure, like, what to refer to them as.
Yes, so we will call the confident badass Waymond. We'll call him the Alphaverse Waymond. We'll just call our Evelyn just Evelyn, and then if it's like a special version of Evelyn, we'll say the defining feature of that Evelyn.
And one exchange I thought was kind of funny was where the Alphaverse Waymond like says to Evelyn, "You can either come with me or lie down there and live with the consequences." And then she says, "I'd rather lie down." I thought that was funny.
And so they obviously don't want to be trapped in the room with the psychotic, murderous Jamie Lee Curtis. And
so wait, is this this is the alternate dimension where Laurie Strode is Michael Myers?
And became a tax auditor at some point.
I couldn't pass that one up. And yeah, he's explaining the different universes and like the alternate universe versions of her. Apparently there's one of them that's like a scientist who discovers the existence of other parallel universes.
Yep. And so that was her from the Alphaverse, where this version of Waymond is from.
And apparently every version of her gets murdered. By who? I don't know.
Yobu Tupaki.
Oh, you do know the answer, okay.
Yes.
Again, it was hard to keep up with stuff.
And so, while they're trying to jump, there's a bit of a painful scene where Alphaverse Waymond has to give himself 5 paper cuts.
Oh, yeah.
That part was a bit painful to watch. And then, for Evelyn to escape, she has to tell Jamie Lee Curtis, "I love you." Which ends up sending her to a dimension where everyone has, like, hot dogs for fingers. Because of course it does.
You've jumped ahead from where I am. Because there's the part where she breaks Short Round's back on her knee.
I forgot about that.
And they keep switching places. She's in a car, then she's in an office building. Part of it was also, I wrote it down in my notes. Okay, I don't know how to describe some of this. Evelyn gets in a fight with Jamie Lee Curtis, who crashes into a wall. Oh, and she also sees what her life would have been like if she hadn't married Short Round.
Which she's apparently a famous kung fu movie star.
Yeah. Apparently she would have been a celebrity in a limo. And there's lots of strange visuals in this, too. Yeah. They're switching around. It's, again, hard to explain. And in the universe where she's famous, she meets Short Round again. And somebody handcuffs her. Yeah, the Matrix, I mentioned that. Okay, this scene, we definitely need to talk about this. Okay. She sees her daughter wearing an Elvis outfit, purple hair, and walking a pig. And she like says to her, "Joy, why do you look so stupid?" And then we get a very weird.
It's so absurd and so hard to describe what happens.
Yeah, her daughter Joy, she like explodes a guard into confetti. Then all of a sudden, one of them is wearing a Carmen Miranda costume.
And then he's getting shot, and it sounds like somebody slapping Jello as the bullets hit him.
Which I gotta say, I was not expecting a Carmen Miranda reference in this movie.
And then Joy beats him to death with 2 dildos.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if she, like, was using actual penises or dildos. But
And all of this happens within, like, 10 seconds, and you're like, what is going on?
Yeah, I was like, what is this? Like, just... Well, maybe it is stupid, but it's also dumb. And yeah, the hot dog fingers.
And we find out that Joy is actually the evil spirit, Jobu Tupaki. And she's able to jump at will between universes and is essentially the main antagonist.
Okay. You have a better grasp of the plot than I did. That's for sure.
And we actually, in this scene, in kind of like this police corridor, we also find out that Joy's plan is to submit to the everything bagel. Which is so it's in the shape of like a bagel or a donut, and it's essentially items from every single multiverse that have coalesced into forming basically a black hole. And she's intending to use it essentially as a multiversal method of suicide.
Which, yeah, the bagel, that was, of all the things in this movie, that was the thing that felt the most like something Douglas Adams would have come up with. I was like, I could totally see that being one of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy books or something. But can we talk about the hot dog fingers thing for a little bit?
And how disgusting it was.
That was the part of the movie where I was like, what the fuck is this movie?
And they're playing like a musical on the screen where they have hot dog fingers and they're squirting ketchup and mustard out of them into each other's mouths.
There's a 2001 A Space Odyssey reference.
Oh, that's right.
You got this hot dog fingered ape killing one with normal fingers. That was also the point of the movie where I was like before this happened, I was like about to say, this movie isn't as insane as I thought it would be. Then this happens. And then right after that, there's a bagel that can destroy everything because nothing matters, apparently.
And then you find out that in this universe, the IRS auditor, Jamie Lee Curtis, is married to Evelyn. But like exclusively in the hot dog finger universe for some reason.
That's so fucking weird. Yeah, but that was the point of the movie where I was just dying from laughter at how absurd it was. And then, of course, Evelyn, she tries explaining this stuff to her family, and they laugh at her because...
It's ridiculous. Oh, hold on. I think you skipped something.
I might have, yeah. I can't write everything down.
So after the whole everything bagel plot device is revealed, Joy gets run into... You
also gotta love how it takes the term everything bagel literally.
Yes. So after showing the everything bagel, Joy essentially gets flattened into the wall by her grandfather, who's in like a motorized wheelchair, going like 80 down this hallway.
And was that the part where Evelyn was talking like a monkey or something?
I think so, yeah.
And he like pulled a gun on her or something, yeah.
Well, the gun happens later.
Yeah. Anyway, and also I wrote at this point, I can't keep track of all these different multiverses. Like, I wasn't sure, like, what reality is this part of the movie set in? I don't know. Like, there's another fight scene with some guards. She, like, fights them with a shield, and Short Round fights them with an American flag.
What was this the part where in order to get the powers, the guards had to use the awards that were on the IRS auditor's desk?
That's a little bit later.
Okay. Because there's some fights that just bleed together.
We're almost to that, but yeah.
Yeah. Did we talk about have we gotten to the dog fight yet?
I was just about to mention that. Okay, you can...
Good. I love this scene.
Go ahead.
So basically, I'm pretty sure it's right after taking care of those guards.
Yeah.
Evelyn gets, like, thrown full force into a vending machine. And the pompous lady that we saw earlier with, like, the small Pomeranian dog comes around.
Yeah, the one that thought the cell phone was a guy's dad. And anyway,
she extends the leash all the way, kicks her dog into the air, starts swinging it around the leash and trying to hit Evelyn with it, who slams it shut into the fridge. It is such a psychotic fight scene.
That was ridiculous. Yeah.
And eventually she gets it out and they keep fighting with her using the dog as a mace, basically. And Evelyn ends up cutting it off and just throwing it to the other side of the room.
This is the world we live in, apparently. And remember, this movie's up for a Best Picture Academy Award. With that scene. It's fucking dog fighting. Like, Jesus. It's hard to comment on some of this. Like, what do you even say? Like,
I know, because it all just happens so fast. You don't have time to think about what you just witnessed.
And it was also just funny thinking, like, there's all these action scenes are happening inside an IRS building. Because I don't know about you, but an IRS building, that's like one of the most boring locations to have a fight scene. But apparently, this is okay. Then the trophy part that happens next.
So these two guards come up to fight, and they're told that in order to get the kung fu skills that they'll need to beat her, they basically have to use this, like, Employee of the Month award as a butt plug to unlock the powers.
Because to be fair, those trophies do look like butt plugs.
Honestly, when I first saw those trophies at the beginning of the movie, my first thought was those look kind of like butt plugs.
That's what I thought too. Yeah.
And so she's just fighting one guard at first, and then this guy comes out of nowhere with no pants on and just dive bombs asshole first onto one of these trophies.
Okay, was this on your version? Because the version I was watching, like, his, like, privates were, like, blurred out.
Oh, yeah, no, it was censored, but he's not wearing pants, but yeah, it is all blurred out. Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was on my version or if, like, that was just a thing on all of the, yeah. Apparently in some alternate universe, nudity gets blurred out just automatically. And somehow this helps with their fighting, I don't know. And then Evelyn pulls them out. She, like, pulls out the trophies. Oh, and not to mention, in an alternate dimension, another version of Evelyn is watching this as a movie in a theater.
Yeah, they reveal that later. No, it's the universe where she is the kung fu master, because then she becomes an actress who stars in the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once.
That's... Might be a little bit too meta right there. And this is also where she finds out that using your pinky can help throw people across rooms or something. I don't know. At one point, one person says it's going to be so hard to explain everything to you, and that's how I felt while watching this movie. Because
it's something that's like like in order, I feel like, to properly talk with somebody about this, they have to have seen the movie.
Yeah, because it sounds like complete nonsense if you've like never seen it. And Evelyn pukes.
And Alpha Waymond ends up getting killed by Joy, who jumps into the Alphaverse.
And then there's a title card that says "The End."
And then we get credits that roll, and then that's when it's revealed that this is a movie in another universe.
But yeah, I was confused right there because I was like, there's like an hour left of this movie. But yeah, no, it was that movie that they were watching in the theater in the other dimension, apparently. Apparently that's where it ends in their universe.
It's a pretty bad spot for it to end, honestly.
Kind of a sad way to end, yeah. She goes into a kitchen and a guy is singing along to a Randy Newman song and wearing a trash panda on his head.
Well, you don't see that. So the first time we see, he's wearing a really tall hat to hide the fact that there's a raccoon on his head. Because we're in the Raccoon universe. It's like Ratatouille, but with a raccoon instead.
Okay. And then we get a return of the hot dog fingers.
where she and Deidre ended up having like a marital dispute that causes Deidre to walk out on her. And then we eventually loop back around to Joy and Evelyn viewing the Everything Bagel yet again.
Yeah.
And so there we learn that Joy's been trying to search for someone who can help give her meaning and give her a reason to not go into the Everything Bagel.
Is that where they're in that weird
like the white space with like everything's marble and there's people in robes?
Yeah, that it looked like an Alejandro Jodorowsky movie. Like, honestly, if this scene was a reference to the Holy Mountain, I wouldn't be surprised. Because the background's like all white and people are wearing priest outfits.
Yeah.
And Joy is there and she's wearing a hat shaped like a bagel.
And everyone's got the symbol of the bagel on their forehead.
That was so strange, yeah. It was kind of hard to follow some of this because it kept switching back and forth.
Yeah. And so, essentially, Evelyn starts to believe that, everything is meaningless and that there's, no real reason to do anything. And so she starts being kind of mean to everyone. So she stabs Waymond in one universe. She ends up signing the divorce papers in another. She ends up rejecting his marriage proposal in one.
There's a one where they're like celebrating Chinese New Year at the laundromat and Jamie Lee Curtis seizes their property.
Yep.
There's just all these like jump cuts of her various different versions, and then all of a sudden we're in a dimension where Evelyn and Joy are now rocks.
Just sitting there, dimension where life did not evolve. And this is like the one quiet break we get the whole movie.
They're like talking to each other through text on the screen. That was very interesting.
But while all this is going on, Waymond's mind ends up getting open to the multiverse. But unlike Joy and unlike Evelyn, he still has that optimism in his heart. And so he's able to essentially convince Evelyn that it's not all meaningless, that they found love across all these like millions of different multiverses, and that there is still a purpose to live even in the face of these overwhelming nihilistic odds.
Now this movie got really existential, huh?
And then we get another weird fight scene.
Yeah.
Where Evelyn,
the bagel like shows up and starts destroying stuff.
Yep.
It's like, it looks like a black hole, basically.
And so Evelyn starts throwing googly eyes onto everything.
Yeah.
And starts like making people's happy wishes from other universes come true. So two of the people fighting her get married. She becomes a dominatrix to another one in a separate universe.
I was about to mention, I think there was like BDSM in this movie or something.
Yeah.
Is she's like fighting with scissors at one point, like
She beats one guy by giving him the perfume that his dead wife had.
something, yeah.
Again, this is impossible to describe.
In one universe, she like basically gets Jamie Lee Curtis not to kill her. And in one, she's like playing piano with her feet.
Well, it's the hot dog universe, so she can't play it with her fingers.
That's right, yeah. And then she's like fighting on the stairs while riding on top of Short Round. What?
Oh, and then in the Rakakuni universe, she tries to help the guy get the raccoon back.
Yeah.
After it got seized.
Rakakuni. At one point, she fights Joy, and you see them fighting in a jail cell. At another point, you see two pinatas fighting.
You see him like samurai fighting.
I kind of just gave up on writing my notes at this point, like, because I was like, I just wrote something happens, and then I wrote, I honestly was so confused about what happened that I had to look up the Wikipedia summary.
So what's basically happening is they're having this fight across all multiverses where Evelyn is trying to reach out to her daughter and saying it's not hopeless. You still have us. You still have your family. And Joy is like continuously trying to say no. There's nothing after this, and is basically trying to make her way into the
the most cynical character in the movie, and her name is Joy. I just realized that.
Yeah.
That's pretty
And so
good.
Joy ends up trying to essentially go headfirst into the everything bagel as like a method of multiversal suicide.
Yeah. And then she gets stopped from going inside the bagel. And basically, at least from what I could gather from the Wikipedia summary, they go through the multiverse and fix the other dimensions.
Yep. They try to make everything better that Evelyn once broke apart.
They're trying to make everything everywhere better all at once.
Yes. And so this includes, in one universe, going back to where they had to do the taxes at the laundromat, Evelyn telling her father that Joy is lesbian and that she has a girlfriend, which he takes pretty well, actually.
That's good, yeah.
And so eventually Joy starts to see the purpose and reaches back out for her mother to save her.
But most importantly, they get the taxes figured out at the end.
Yes.
And is there anything else you had to...
I guess at the very end, they're back in the tax offices talking to Deidre, and then it shows that Evelyn still has this connection to the multiverse. And then the movie ends.
Basically, it was a way of saying that she's in the next Doctor Strange movie. She's in one of the... I was looking through...
I think she's in Shang-Chi, right?
Or whatever, yeah. So maybe she will be in one of the MCU multiverse movies. But yeah.
So yeah, that movie is complete nonsense if you haven't watched it. I imagine this was the least cohesive plot summary of all time.
Is this the strangest movie we've done a podcast on? I was gonna...
It's up there. It's up there.
Because honestly, I think I was more perplexed by the Russian Treasure Island movie.
I was about to say that one might be weirder. Just for the unexpected musical scenes telling you not to smoke or gamble.
And the weird, like, animation style. And I was also able to follow the plot and characters better than better than in Turkish Star Wars.
Yeah.
That being said, yes, this is a strange movie.
And again, it's gotta sound like just absolute madness if you haven't actually watched the film.
I mean, the few details I'd heard, it sounded like that, basically. So, overall thoughts. I will admit, my expectations for this might have been a bit too high, because I was expecting it to be a lot weirder. Then again, I'm very desensitized. So. I've seen tons of weird movies. I've definitely seen stuff that's more abstract than this.
Yeah, I'd say Eraserhead is probably a bit more abstract than this movie.
And I've seen weirder stuff than that movie too.
Yeah. I've not. Eraserhead is as brave as I go.
So you haven't seen, like, House, the Japanese film?
No. Okay, let me tell you, Eraserhead, I watched it with a friend once and we didn't speak to each other for a few days.
You've mentioned that before. I mean, with this movie, the characters at the very least felt grounded. Like you can you could follow their character arcs and stuff. Like the plot, if you think about it, it does make sense, but it's just there's a lot of weird details and things that happen that just don't make sense. But yeah, it's an entertaining movie. The cast, I think, is good. It's nice that Short Round is back. So there's that. I liked the music. The visuals were good. The fight scenes were fun. I don't know if I'd consider it best picture material, but I liked it. So, granted, I've only seen 2 of the movies that have been nominated for best picture this year, so. And the other one I saw, I thought was the better movie, Tar. I thought Tar was a better movie, but. And come on, they didn't nominate Morbius for Best Picture. I guess that wouldn't be fair to the other nominees, though, because then Morbius would just sweep the awards. At the very least, I could see myself watching this movie again, if not just to try and make sense of some of the plot. Because I'll admit, the plot kind of lost me at some points. But yeah.
So, for me, I absolutely loved this movie. I had a great time watching it. Like you mentioned, Ki Hui Kwan, aka Short Round, I think did a really good job in this movie. He really sells you on the character.
Michelle Yeoh was really good too.
Yeah. As for Best Picture, I think I agree with you. It's not my favorite movie of 2022, but it is still an exceptional movie.
What was your favorite movie of 2022?
Probably The Menu.
That good, huh?
I really like The Menu, yeah.
I should see it then.
But yeah, very weird movie, but it got a lot of laughs out of me every time. It did something weird, which is good.
Yeah, it's definitely it's very much its own thing.
Yes.
Which I like when a movie is its own thing.
Yeah, when it's able to be unique and it's not just the 58th exact movie that you've seen before.
Yeah, it's not just another MCU movie.
Yeah, it's not just Thor 4.
Thor 4. I think it'd be funny if at some point they made a sequel or prequel to this and then called it Nothing, Nowhere, Not at the Same Time.
There is no multiverse. It's just about her doing taxes. Something somewhere at some point.
Which that would be where occasionally there's like minor interruptions from the multiverse, but it never really it impacts the main plot in any huge way. So. But yeah, I think it's a good movie though.
Yeah.
Overall, I'd watch it again, if not just to so I can go, what the fuck is this? I feel like if I watch it again, I might have to put on like subtitles just so I can like piece together better like what everybody's saying. But yeah, is that it?
I think so. Yeah. All right. Do we want to get into any trivia real quick?
Oh, that's right. I haven't looked at the trivia at all.
I've got a couple pieces.
It's just the last few podcasts we haven't done trivia at all. So
I've got a couple pieces pulled up if you want me to go ahead and read
I want to
some
keep
off.
ranting about the DC. Or what else is there? Like what else have we been, the Velma cartoon or whatever. Sorry, you can start if you want.
All right. To keep plot details under wraps before the trailer was released, the official IMDb synopsis read, "A woman tries to do her taxes."
Yes, she does.
Shockingly accurate.
This does make me wonder if the same people that wrote those Netflix summaries for the
Wrote
Indiana
that
Jones
summary.
movies wrote the summary for this. What would that read like?
Oh god. I don't even know where to begin.
A woman gets attacked by clones of herself and then has to stop a bagel that's trying to kill everybody.
After following an attack at an IRS audit agency, a laundromat owner must fight the multiverse version of her daughter to prevent the destruction of everything. I don't know.
There has to be like some stupid like thing added at the end though. Like, because the Indiana Jones ones had stuff like, so yes, there will be snakes, or like,
Yeah,
stuff like that. Or things went downhill from there. So there has to be something like that.
She must do everything everywhere all at once.
There we go. Okay.
All of the visual effects for this film was done by a total of 9 people, including the directors, with a majority of the shots being done by a core group of 5 people. None of the people who worked on the visual effects went to school for it. They were all friends who taught themselves with tutorials they found online.
And it looks better than a lot of...
It looks better than the recent MCU stuff.
I've like seen, yeah, there's that picture you sent me from
from the Thor movie where it's just the person's head in a green screen.
Yeah, God, that effect.
Ke Huy Quan delivers a reference to his Indiana Jones character Short Round when yelling at Evelyn to snap out of it. This scene plays out exactly like the same scene in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom when Indy is under a spell by Mola Ram.
I mean, of course, yeah. I mean, you cast Short Round. You should make a Short Round.
Yeah.
Hell, you half expect him to say "No time for love, Dr. Jones." Or, "Okie dokie, Dr. Jones, hold on to your potatoes."
Daniels, so the 2 directors, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, originally wrote the script with Jackie Chan in mind for the role. Ultimately, Daniels reconsidered the leading role to be played by a woman, feeling a husband and wife relationship was more convincing. The lead role ultimately went to Chan's Super Cop co-star Michelle Yeoh.
And now she has an Oscar nomination, so
Yeah, definitely the right move there.
Jackie Chan missed out on that opportunity.
James Hong was 91 during filming, and he had 5 stand-ins for the various action beats. One even volunteered to shave his head just for the honor of doubling Hong.
In an interview with Empire, Daniel Radcliffe mentioned that he was approached by the Daniels to appear in the film, but due to scheduling conflicts, he turned it down.
Oh, that's such a shame. I know exactly what character he would have been, too.
He stated that the Daniels are probably the only people in the world that I would say yes to doing a movie of theirs without even seeing the script.
Do you know who I'm like 99% sure I know who he would have played?
The raccoon guy?
I think he would have been one of the security guards that had to shove the trophy up his butt.
That is something I've heard, is that he does show his ass in a lot of movies, so yeah, you're probably right. Which he does show his ass in Swiss Army Man, in case you were wondering. Would you have ever expected Harry Potter's film career to look like this nowadays?
Oh, when Wayman pleads with Evelyn it's not too late, she glimpses happy moments of her life with him, towards the end of which a voice of him says, "That's very funny." A line made famous by his character Short Round in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, when he laughs at Willie Scott, who has fallen into the lake during the elephant ride.
And I think he says that at the end, too. When he's, like, sitting on the elephant, scores him, but anyway. But yeah, sorry. What were you saying?
When Evelyn gains access to all her alternate universe selves, there's a shot of numerous images of her alternate selves cycling through view, including ones that are a tree, a dog, a zombie, a bunch of grapes, an Easter egg, a YouTube thumbnail, a meme about tennis, a nun with a skull for a face, a baby, and a green alien.
Yeah, because there's that one part where it's like flashing by really fast. I actually,
and it's like all
on
one
YouTube,
frame.
On YouTube, somebody uploaded a video where they slowed it down so you could see what they all were. I haven't watched it. I haven't watched it yet, but I was like, okay, I need to see this, because I was like, what the fuck is going on? Because it's going by so fast. You said there was a zombie in there?
Apparently.
And a tree. Apparently Michelle Yeoh turns into Groot at one point, or Treebeard. That's so weird. Apparently at the premiere, when the movie was finished, Jamie Lee Curtis was like crying, and she said, "Okay, I finally understand the movie."
One of the extras during Jobu Tupaki's introduction took pictures and posted them on Instagram. She was not invited back for more work.
Wait, who was?
So it was an extra that took behind-the-scenes photos and posted them on Instagram.
Oh, okay. Whoops.
Oh, the scene where Deirdre, in evil wrestler mode, is stalking Evelyn among the cubicles is inspired by the Velociraptor kitchen scene in Jurassic Park.
That kind of was like that, yeah, huh.
Yeah. Just kind of how they have, like, the two ends of the rows of cubicles. It's kind of like the two rows of the countertops.
I don't remember the Velociraptors shoving trophies up their ass to, like, to get better fight skills. I guess Steven Spielberg hadn't come up with that yet. Apparently it's the highest grossing A24 movie.
Huh.
Domestically, at least. I don't know if worldwide any of them have.
The Auditor of the Year awards all look like
worldwide,
rectal plugs.
Yeah. It's their highest grossing movie worldwide, too.
Okay.
It overtook Hereditary.
Oh, wow.
Highest grossing A24 movie worldwide. Oh, this is interesting. At the beginning of the film, Jenny Slate's dog mom character has to present her ticket to pick up her laundry. The ticket number is 42. A number famous as being the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Huh.
So, yeah, there are Douglas Adams references in this movie. That did not surprise me.
The entirety of filming took up to 38 days.
38 days, huh? I wonder how long did it take for them to film Batgirl? Oh, yeah, I noticed this. Because I use Letterboxd sometimes. On the Letterboxd page of the film, a small Easter egg can be found. The watched button, which is usually shaped like an eye, is replaced by a googly eye.
Huh.
And they also did a kind of a similar thing with Dune, where like the eyes are like blue.
That's kind of cool.
Because that's what happens when you're tripping on spice. Oh, this might be why I was thinking of The Matrix. In the scene where Evelyn is being chased by Deirdre, she moves from one cubicle to the other while squatting down and on the phone. This scene is almost exactly the same as a scene from The Matrix, where Neo is hiding from the agents in his office building.
That's pretty good.
The two antagonists fighting Evelyn with objects shoved up their butts are listed in the credits as Alpha Jumper, Trophy, and Alpha Jumper, Bigger Trophy.
They reference the opening of Home Alone as a reference point for this film's opening, as it moves around their home, introducing viewers to numerous locations and items that will come back later in the film.
And also the different family members, too.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of different family members in that. God, imagine what Home Alone would have been like if Kevin McAllister also had to deal with alternate dimension versions of himself and also Harry and Marv.
The film is often compared to Rick and Morty due to its heavy use of the metaverse, scatological humor, extreme violence, and existential angst. The Daniels even admitted that they felt really insecure about making this movie when they saw that Rick and Morty had already done a lot of their ideas.
I haven't watched enough of that to compare it, but
I can see some of the similarities, but they're pretty different overall, I would say.
At least from what I've seen, the sense of humor is very different.
Yeah.
Than in this movie. And I don't remember there being using trophies shoved up their ass as a weapon. That just keeps making me want to make like a Pulp Fiction reference or something. I stuck this uncomfortable hunk of metal up my
ass.
Ki Hoi Kwan was a production assistant and an assistant action choreographer for The One, which is also a movie that features a multiverse. Ki Hoi Kwan stopped acting for 20 years because of a lack of compelling Asian roles in Hollywood. In this film, he gets to play over 200 roles. Some more substantive than others that we see on screen, plus a theoretically infinite quantity of Waymans. So I guess that's to make up for all that lost time film roles.
The appearance of Jamie Lee Curtis's character, Beardry, is based on a stock photo of an IRS worker. The photo by Mike Simons captioned, "Kathleen Malone works on tax returns at the Cincinnati IRS." Shows an IRS worker with an identical hairstyle, yellow turtleneck, light yellow knit vest, glasses, and necklaces.
Huh. It's like they probably just looked up like just tax auditor and just whatever the first picture was, they used that. Bagel is also a slang term for zero or nothing, making it the perfect symbol for Joy's nihilistic worldview. Huh? I never thought of using bagels to symbolize nihilism before. But okay.
In Evelyn's reality where she is a movie star, real footage of Michelle Yeoh on the red carpet is used, including that of the premiere for Crazy Rich Asians. I can't speak today. Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah. And if I remember right, she's not the only cast member from this movie to be in that movie. Because I think the raccoon guy is also in that.
Oh, really?
At least from what I was reading earlier. I only know that because I looked at the Wikipedia, filmographies. I haven't actually watched that movie. Unless if you want to do it on the podcast. I don't think that's not gonna happen. During a March 2022 New York Magazine interview with Ki Hoi Kwan to promote his role in Everything Everywhere All at Once, Kwan said that his entertainment lawyer is his Goonies co-star and fellow former child actor Jeff Cohen.
Huh.
Cohen, who played Chung alongside Kwan's Data in the 1980s children's classic, graduated from UCLA's law school in 2000. Blah, 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 blah. During a January 2023 Hollywood Reporter Actors Roundtable, Kwan said it was Cohen who drew up his deal to appear in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Huh.
He's all grown now. He's an entertainment lawyer. He's my entertainment lawyer. So when the producer of our movie was trying to make my deal, he said he would never have imagined that we would have to talk to Chung to get Data to be in his movie.
On the day they shot the scene with the rocks, the weather was 118 degrees Fahrenheit. It was so hot, director Daniel Scheinert's shoes were melting.
Oh my god.
That would suck.
Wait, where did they film it?
It doesn't say.
Jesus Christ, I was wondering where.
I didn't notice this. In the hot dog finger universe, instruments that require fingers are heard to be played poorly. This is especially heard through many classical pieces, such as Also sprach Zarathustra and Claire de Lune.
I did notice that, yeah, I was wondering. Yeah, because they were playing that, which is the music from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh, that's right! I forgot. Oh.
I was listening to it and wondering, what did they do to the music? Did they, mess up some of the notes? And yeah, but it's because they were probably using their hot dog fingers to play it. So yeah, I hadn't thought of that. There's another thing about this movie. It has so many different genres going on here.
Yeah.
Because you got sci-fi, you got comedy, you got martial arts, family drama. It's just... It literally is everything everywhere all at once. Yeah.
Exactly.
Daniel Kwan described the release of the animated film Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which also deals with a multiversal concept, as a little upsetting because we were like, oh shit, everyone's going to beat us to this thing we've been working on. He also stated watching the second season of Rick and Morty was really painful. I was like, they've already done all the ideas we thought were original. It was a really frustrating experience. So I stopped watching Rick and Morty while we were writing this project. That is something that sometimes happens, is where I'll be trying to write a script, and then I'll find out about somebody's making a movie and has some similar ideas to what I'm trying to do. I'll be like, God damn it.
Yeah. Body count 16, including the ape killed by the hot dog fingered primate.
I love how they specified that. I am surprised though, like how low the budget was for this.
Yeah. It's done very well.
And yeah, you wouldn't really think that, but yeah. Imagine what they would have done if they had twice that much. Jesus. And that's another thing I hadn't thought about. Like, somebody goes to see this, and they don't know what it is before that.
You would be very confused.
Because I at least had some idea of what I was getting into. Although the friend I was talking to that said he'd seen this, he said he couldn't really prepare me for this.
That's pretty accurate, yeah.
And he was kind of right, because, I mean, there's just certain stuff in this movie that I'm like, what, hon? What? Just...
You have to return the favor now. Get him to watch The Russian Treasure Island.
The Russian Treasure... I should, actually. I did tell him a little bit about it, but yeah, it's just, that's another one of those movies that you really don't get the full effect of it unless you've actually seen it. So.
Yeah.
At the start of the film, a calendar in the Wang's apartment with a large 24 number is visible. While it's not the identical font to the A24 logo, it's very similar. Okay, I think I'm about...
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to add to that.
We can go on another rant about some other stupid bullshit that's going on.
I think real quick, we'll, I guess that's the end of the episode, unless you have anything else to add.
It's another one of those movies I don't really know what else to say. I really don't. If I'm gonna be a little mad if Way of Water beats it at the Oscars.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
I mean, if it loses Best Picture, fine. I mean, but like fucking Way of Water winning Best Picture, come on, just don't do that to us. It's probably not gonna happen. I doubt it's gonna happen.
So I think for now, that's about it. Do we know what we're...
I can't believe Morbius didn't do well on But yeah.
Join us next time where we watch Morbius.
Morbius. We're not. Do you actually want to do Morbius?
I don't know if I'm brave enough.
Yeah, roll Andy Griffith.
Yeah, Andrew Griffith.
Good night, you stupid idiot. Good night, you miserable slob.